Yeah. Yes.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we honor this time, Lord. We just want to offer our thanks up to you and thank you for this day, for the men and women gathered around this table, the men and women that make up this department and work for this state. Lord, we're so grateful for all that they do. And Father, we just want to ask your blessings on this proceeding now, and that we make decisions that are good for the people, Lord, and glorify you. Lift us up in Christ's name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll do a quick roll call.
Okay.
District 1, Ms. Purcell. Present. 2, Ms. Williams. Here. 3, Mr. McIntyre.
Present.
4, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
5, Ms. Key. Present. 6, Mr. Bowen.
Here.
7, Mr. Thompson. 8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn. 10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Snipes.
Here.
13, Ms. Lemon. Here. And 14, Mr. Gravely.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
A motion and second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion approved. Huh?
Yeah. Closer.
Okay. Okay.
Or what? No, I don't think so. Oh. Looks better to you?
Report. Sure, Ms.
All right. Well, good afternoon, Chairman Brown,
Good morning.
Commissioner, and members of the board. I'm here to present the projects that the department is proposing to advertise in the July 2024 letting. Before we present the July 2024 letting, here are the FY 2024 results so far. We've led a total of 233 projects. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 233 projects is approximately $2.4 billion through the May 2024 bid award. Of the 233 projects, 217 are GDOT let with an approximate value of $2.3 billion, and 16 are local let with an approximate value of $134 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with maintenance, roadway, and bridge projects making up the bulk of these types. Here are the results of the May 2024 letting. Of the 23 GDOT let contracts presented to the board, 22 were awarded and 1 was rejected. So now I'm going to discuss the projects in the July 2024 letting. We have a total of 36 projects, all of them being GDOT lets. The next 4 slides show these 36 projects arranged by congressional district. Okay. All right, the first, I'm sorry, one slide back. So as you can see with this slide, we are leading a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge capacity, maintenance, and safety issues. This first highlighted project will resurface State Route 137 from Marion County line to State Route 3 for 14 miles. This next project proposes to widen 2.26 miles of State Route 162, which is Salem Road, from Old Salem Road to north of Flat Shoals Road in Rockdale County, from an existing 2-lane roadway to a 4-lane roadway with a 16-foot raised median. A 12-foot shoulder that includes a 5-foot sidewalk will be on the east side, and a 20-foot shoulder, including a 10-foot multi-use path, will be on the west side throughout the 162 corridor. Its sister project proposes to continue the widening of State Route 162, which is Salem Road, from 2.23 miles from Browns Bridge Road to Old Salem Road, again, changing it from a 2-lane facility to a 4-lane facility with a 16-foot raised median, 12-foot shoulder. That includes a 5-foot sidewalk on the east side and a 20-foot shoulder with a 10-foot multi-use path on the west side. This next project will resurface I-285 from Paces Ferry Road, which is in Cobb, to Long Island Road in Fulton County, for a length of 5.7 miles. It was last repaid in June of 2012, which was 12 years ago. This next project is an intersection improvement project that proposes to replace the minor road stop with a 3-legged single-lane roundabout with bypass lanes located approximately 5 miles north of Loganville in Walton County. Okay. This next project will replace the bridge on State Route 14, which is also US 29, between Mallory Road and Welcome Hall Road over the CSX Railroad in Fulton County. The existing bridge was built in 1938, 86 years ago. And here's a ground view of that closed bridge location. This proposed project will provide pedestrian and signal upgrades at 17 locations in Murray, Whitfield, Catoosa, and Catoosa counties in District 6. And this one will also provide pedestrian and safety upgrades at 10 locations in Walker and Dade counties. All of these are to improve pedestrian safety in those various locations. This next slide will show the design build project, which is in the July 2024 letting that was previously presented to the board for advanced advertisement. That's that project. So we have 36 projects proposed for the July 2024 letting, all being GDOT let. This chart shows the distribution by improvement type. The estimate of the projects in the July 2024 letting is approximately $311 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. And now it's for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects presented for the July 2024 letting.
Yes.
So moved with
Motion.
approval.
A motion, do we have a second? Oh, okay. Any discussion?
I will just, on the, iPad, something highlighted in red.
Roadway project,
Oh.
I-285 from 843 Collier to 2338 Paces Ferry.
Not sure why.
Highlight.
Not sure why it's highlighted in red versus yellow. It's a capital maintenance resurfacing project.
Yeah.
It's a fair question. Don't know the answer.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, aye. Ayes have it. Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
And we have revisions to the construction work program. I'm Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Commissioner. It's a pleasure to bring before you proposed revisions to the construction work program. The first, in the opposite order here. This first one that's coming to you is a proposed addition. It's coming for the first time for review. It'll be brought back to you next month for action. It's an addition bridge project to the program. These next two slides here are revisions that were brought to you last month for review and do come back to you for action this month. They are 12 additions to the program, all of which are additional expanded parking locations for truck parking locations on rest areas, visitor information centers, and way stations. You can see those there as well. I'd be happy to take any questions. Otherwise, I'd appreciate your favorable consideration.
I'll second that.
No motion and second, discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say, and the ayes have it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now we have Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Great to be here. It's the first day of summer, even though it's felt like it for a couple of weeks now. So hope you enjoy your summer. We'll start with state fund collections. For the month of May, $213.3 million were collected, $192.6 million of that being excise, and $20.7 million in transportation fees, bringing fiscal year to date for the month ending May to $1.78 billion, with a breakdown of right at $1.6 billion being excise and a little over $215 million in transportation fees. Now, as it relates to funding, since we were together last time, we had the May 21st primary, and I'm excited to say that TIA for the South Georgia Regional Commission passed for another 10 years. And Tim Golden was updating me live, real time, as the votes were coming in. So late into the evening, but it passed with very, very good success. So certainly appreciate that. And it is, again, as Kenneth Franks gave you a presentation last month about the great work of TIA for a decade, and now in the next decade, South Georgia Regional Commission will continue to prosper because of that transportation investment that the voters affirmed. So what a great, great outcome that was. And Tim, appreciate you texting me late at night. As normal. Okay. Let me move into our employment figures. Again, you heard from Scott Higley this morning about how great of a story they get to tell due to the great work of the men and women of GDOT. I'm very excited to say that we closed out last month at 3,924 full-time staff. We hired 48 employees last month and only had 33 separated. That is on the plus side, which is always good, 15. And that's what we need to continue to do to bring in women and men that can continue to help us be successful going forward. In the procurement report, again, all the work it takes to get projects ready for you to vote on to be bid and then go to construction and get the payoff. For the month ending last month, 192 professional service contracts valued at $51 million were executed, bringing the fiscal year to date up through May to over 2,033 contracts that have been executed. Which is a lot of work, valued at over $743 million, or you could say that being almost $750 million, if you think about it that way. So sounds different when you say that, doesn't it? So, and this is through May. So next month we'll give you year-end close numbers, and it will be impressive. But that's all the work it takes to get to you a $310 million letting for next month. To show you, it's just a lot of work to get there. So very, very proud of those numbers and accomplishments. Now, since we were together last month, we opened a few major projects. Not every project, obviously, I'm going to go over, but I wanted to highlight a few. The first, starting down in Congressional District 2 in Muskogee County, which is our GDOT District 3 Thomaston office managing that project. An operational improvement project at State Route 22, at State Route 85 there in Muskogee County. C.W. Matthews Contracting Company was the contractor and got it opened on May 22nd. Represents a $1.8 million operational investment project. Operational improvement project. Sometimes they don't have to be big, complex projects to provide immediate relief, such as adding turn lanes at this very busy intersection. So glad to have that open, and hopefully traffic is flowing a little smoother at this busy location. Next, we'll move over into Congressional District 5, the mighty 5th as it's called. for another operational improvement project, for 3 signalized intersections on Northside Drive at State Route 8 and Lambert Street into one more simplified intersection right here in Fulton County, just over the way, just right on the other side of Georgia Tech. Baldwin Paving Company was the contractor. It opened, finished up on May 9th and represents a $5.5 million, again, operational improvement to take a couple of tricky intersections and make one more efficient operational intersection there. This project opened ahead of schedule as well. Next, we'll move up into Congressional District 9 to Banks County, which is GDOT District 1, for a capital bridge replacement project on State Route 51 over the Hudson River in Banks County. The contractor was Vertical Earth Incorporated, opened up to traffic on May 22nd. It represents a $7.2 million investment, and you can see what $7.2 million gets you. Basically a new bridge to replace the old bridge by building off to the side. Also in Congressional District 9, but now moving down to Elbert County, which is again GDOT District 1, another capital bridge replacement project, this time on State Route 77 over Falling Creek in Elbert County. Tally Construction Company was the contractor, opened to traffic on May 29th, and this represents another $7.2 million investment. So again, you can see that these bridge replacements are getting to be quite expensive. Again, building off to the side so that traffic could be maintained and keep traffic flowing while building new structure. This project also opened ahead of schedule. So that ends the sort of the projects that we opened last month that we wanted to highlight. And as always proud to brag on our GDOT staff and what they do. And especially I want to call special attention to Sam Harris, who has stood before you here before. He is the Assistant State Traffic Engineer, and he was named the 2024 Young Member of the Year by the Institute of the Transportation Engineers, or ITE as we call it. Sam was also included in ITE's 2024 Young Leaders to Follow class and recognized as the Southern District's ITE Rising Star. So Sam's a rock star. That's what that means in the especially at ITE. You've seen him here talk about the safety programs over the past months or so, and you know that he oversees our safety programs and is an integral part of the Safe Driving Summits that many of you participated with Let's See 43, and is just a great advocate for safety. He's also was spearheading that Georgia DOT's Keep Georgia Safe classroom curriculum. You saw the video earlier today. He was the safety part of that with the communication, working with We Are Teachers to bring that to fruition. And just a little bit more about ITE. ITE is an international membership association of transportation professionals who work to improve safety and mobility for all transportation system users and build a smart and livable communities. And again, Sam was recognized at the national level for his being a 2024 Young Member of the Year. And in fact, I got an email from the president of this international organization to brag on Sam and what a attribute he is to ITE. So congratulations to Sam on his much well-deserved recognition. So congratulations to Sam. Next, it is summertime, as I said, and it seems like there's a conference every week, if not every day, to go to, and I know many of you are engaged. But I was going to start with a little bit about investing, continuing to invest in GDOT staff and our team. And recently we had the opportunity to send several key GDOT leaders to attend workshops as part of the AASHTO Leadership Development Series. This is really training for our next generation of transportation leaders, really vital for them to develop them and ability to run transportation systems of tomorrow. Not only here in Georgia, but across the country. And we know that our staff certainly benefits from being able to attend. The AASHTO Leadership Development Series offers several opportunities for AASHTO members and departments, really from middle management up to the executive level, to learn from other colleagues across the nation and experts. And that's one of the great things about this Leadership Institute is you get to meet your peers from across the country. And when I went to it a very long time ago, I'm still very close with a lot of my peers from other states, and it's really a great way to learn and engage and deploy R&D, and we all know what R&D stands for. That's rip off and duplicate. So if there's a good idea that somebody's or some DOT's doing something good, we're going to steal it and use it. So, and people steal from us, and that's okay as well. So we had 3 participants: Alan Davis, our state traffic engineer; Kenneth Franks, state TIA administrator; and Chris Rudd, our director of engineering. All took time away. It took place from June 5th to June 14th. Yes, do the math. That's a long time to be away from home. But certainly glad to have them engage and sharpen their skills and bring that back and apply it to continue to lead GDOT to greatness. So I'm glad that they were able to attend. As it relates to conferences, a lot going on, as I said. Just last week, the U.S. Department of Transportation from the Secretary's office hosted a public engagement workshop here in Atlanta. The workshop was part of a series being held in Georgia, Arizona, and Illinois, was where the other workshops were held, so it's always good to have something here in Atlanta. The all-day event included remarks from representatives of USDOT, Federal Transit Administration, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, among others, and Sabrina David of Federal Highway Division here, Sabrina was with us this morning. She had to leave. She's virtual right now. But as you can see, she provided the plenary comments for the event. The agenda included various workshops and presentations, all about, again, public engagement. And you heard from Scott Higley today how good public engagement has been, especially using virtual meeting opportunities where we can meet people where they are, which is generally on their phone, and they can be anywhere. You know, as he said, they can be sitting in their house, they can be wherever, and we can get a lot better engagement. And there were several case studies with some of MARTA's work with public engagement with the recent airport station closure. That got a lot of attention, and you can saw a lot of public engagement from MARTA leading up to that and through that, and it's back open if you need to go to the airport. The platform is open. And then other projects, such as the Stitch, that you've had a presentation on just a few months ago. So public engagement becomes so critical. Listening and understanding from constituents and from the public of what's important to them, and how do we integrate that into what we're doing. So I appreciate the opportunity for the USDOT being here, and I appreciate the opportunity I was able to do a welcome and say a few remarks as well to the great work that was done. And we had many GDOT employees from environmental, from communications, and some other entities from GDOT attending as well. Makes it nice when it's in town. We can get a lot of people there. So also, not in a conference, but also to highlight some things that were said at Washington, D.C. Last month, the U.S. Senate's Surface Transportation, Maritime Freight, and Ports Subcommittee convened a hearing titled Examining the Roadway Safety Crisis and Highlighting Community Solutions. And so, obviously, in 2023, over 41,000 people were killed on the nation's roadways. We were about 1,667 here in Georgia. Again, any one of those numbers, anyone is too many. And so, this hearing was set up to look at the causes of the roadway safety crisis, including unique risks to pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists, and how Congress can support really a holistic view of roadway safety. And we call that the Safe Systems approach here in Georgia and across the nation. So Laura Chase, the president and CEO of the Intelligent Transportation Society of America, testified about opportunities to leverage technology with transportation systems to increase safety outcomes for road users across the United States. And you may remember that Laura spoke to our ribbon cutting last year on our CV to X. I know Stacy and Dana were there for that ribbon cutting, and we went outside and cut a ribbon, and there's no road. It's all technology mounted up on a traffic signal, where our traffic signals are now able to talk to vehicles or talk to anything. And so that was a great day when she came here, but in Laura's testimony, she basically bragged on Georgia and told her what Georgia was doing, and called out GDOT in her testimony to the Senate Transportation Committee about what we're doing here as a leader in connected vehicle technology. So it's always nice. I was reading an article and then the testimony, and then here was GDOT referenced in it. So we were being called out to Congress. So that's pretty, a great accolade, and we certainly appreciate ITS America for their recognition of that and the partnership they have. So always nice to be mentioned, I suppose. Again, back into the conferences, this week, last week, starting last Saturday and ending on Tuesday, the American Society of Civil Engineers, or ASCE, held a joint conference here in Atlanta. GDOT was actually the co-host with ASCE for the International Conference on Transportation and Development, and also the Conference on Automated People Movers and Automated Transit Systems. Now, some of you grimaced earlier about riding in a car without a driver, but every time you ride the airport shuttle from terminal to terminal, you're in an automated people mover with nobody driving. So you'll get there.
Nobody else on the rail.
Nobody else on the road. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. We'll work on early adopters. We'll work on adoption. It was a great conference. Again, it was truly an international event too. There was people from all over the world. I think they had about 600, maybe a little more than 600 people attending this. And I was very fortunate to participate in the opening session on Sunday, and then hosted a panel on Monday where we had state CEOs from Arizona, North Carolina, Washington State, and Iowa for us to talk about the impacts of the bipartisan infrastructure law, sort of the good and the bad and the challenges, I guess you would say. And I think we all came away from that conversation with, as great and as important it is, we've got to change the narrative on the bipartisan infrastructure law, that it was the down pavement to continue, not once in a generational investment that we're done with. We've got to continue the investment to continue to do the great things that we know it can do. So it was really an honor, but the best part of it was seeing so many staff. And there's Janine Miller again on Sunday, presenting again on the automated people moving side of the agenda, a lot about the airport and the relationship to transit to the airport. So Janine was wearing her ATL hat at the moment, but obviously talked about the work GDOT does as well. And we had so many other people attend and present, and it's nothing finer and no higher honor than to present to your peers from around not only the nation but the world. And certainly appreciate our staff being there, many on Sunday and throughout the week. So certainly really excited about that. So that's the conferences for now. There's more conferences to come, I'm sure. But let me just end on some sad news. One of our mowing contractors, employees lost his life in the line of duty while mowing, and had a tractor incident. Wasn't hit by another car or hit anybody, but just had a tractor incident and lost his life. And so just a reminder of the dangerous work that people do, and our staff does, and our contractors do on a daily basis. And we're very sad that an employee was lost in line of duty due to a tragic accident. So I'm sorry to end on a down note, but with that, Mr. Chairman, I will be glad to entertain any questions or comments.
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ms. Hibbard, John Hibbard.
And good afternoon.
Okay.
Again, everybody. As mentioned when I was before you this morning, that effort to adopt the MUTCD, the national MUTCD, as I presented it for the state of Georgia, is best codified in a resolution by the board. And so to that end, I'll...
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve and adopt the manual as so presented this morning to the committee of the whole.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Ayes have it.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, as far as new business is concerned, last meeting I spoke of just us changing the meeting date for the board meeting, and now we'll continue with, one-day Thursday meeting and board meetings until further notice. So it will not be 2 days of meeting, it'll be one day. That'll be on Thursday, like today. Right? All right? Any discussion?
Chairman, I think we need to discuss it, but I don't think this is the appropriate time to discuss it.
Okay. What would you like to discussion?
We can go into executive session, but I'm not sure that's appropriate either.
I don't think it's an executive session topic. I think this is the appropriate venue.
Okay. All right. There are no more business to discuss. Meeting is adjourned. Pardon me? Pardon me?
I didn't hear it.
I'm looking for the attorney to give us some ruling on that.
Yes, it's not, yeah.
It's not,
I would, that'd just be, among the board's pleasure to whatever you guys decide.
Okay, well, I am, from the very beginning, I've stated that I did not like the one-day meeting. I think we need the 2-day meeting. But if it's the pleasure of the other 13,